Guys, our first topic of the day is brought to us by Nissan. The Armada Player of the Week is brought to you by our friends at Nissan and the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada. Each week, they're taking a look at a draft prospect and picking a guy that stands out, the guy they believe showcases the strength and power needed to push the team forward as the Browns look ahead to next season. This week's Armada clear-cut Player of the Week is TreVeyon Henderson. This guy has the all-time career touchdown, yardage, and all that in the running back room for the Ohio State Buckeye program. He is heavy duty. He's an incredible blocker in the passing game. You talk about rugged, you talk about TreVeyon Henderson. He's won at home, he's won on the road, and he dreamt big, leaving his collegiate career with a national championship on his resume. It's clear that TreVeyon Henderson is our Player of the Week, and he's out here ready to conquer the road ahead with confidence, just like you can in the all-new Nissan Armada or any of their other outstanding vehicles. Take the Nissan Armada, Rogue, and Pathfinder and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. G. Bush, I was waiting for you to come back on the show to do this topic. But we have talked at length about Joe Flacco's return to Cleveland and how Kevin Stefanski, throughout his career, and has the reputation of being a quarterback whisperer. Flacco and Stefanski had tremendous success together at the end of the 2023 season. But with all the options that were on the table, the Browns selected Joe Flacco as the veteran quarterback they wanted to bring in. If Flacco can't replicate the success that he had in 2023, or at least give them serviceable quarterback play, are we going to have to hold Stefanski accountable for that failure, or do you chalk it up to Flacco just being a 40-year-old veteran quarterback that may not have a lot left in the tank?
See, this is why I know they got some PR people in Cleveland. I don't know who they are.
I do.
They got some new cats ready to go. Now, Jason, we got to talk about this because this right here is one of the most strategic moves. It was threefold. First of all, the fans love Flacco. They think that if you would ask a fan, it's to the point. Remember how we used to be talking about that Deshaun Watson, Baltimore Ravens second half?
Yep.
Listen, that Joe Flacco,
games.
That Joe Flacco 6 games, boy, he was the greatest quarterback we've ever seen in my lifetime. If you go ask people, but the other part that's really savvy about bringing him back is this: you already got the built-in excuses, so you already have built-in cover. Joe Flacco. People can say, well, listen, how good did you expect him to play? He didn't play all that great last year. He's 40 years old. Look, you guys, the Browns are in a mini rebuild. So what did you expect to happen? Like, did we think Joe Flacco was going to lead us to the playoffs? That's why they brought Kenny Pickett in. So that's another good reason why, no, Kevin Stefanski is not going to get that. And by the way, unless Kevin Stefanski and the Browns completely fall on their face, right? He has a whole video of the Haslam saying this: we're not going to rush things. We're not going to force a quarterback. Listen, if you want the whole Deshaun thing, you want somebody to put on the table for that, it was me. Blame me. But our guys are good. So he got 3 or 4, 5 different built-in excuses, Dustin. Yeah. The owner already said he's good. Why you think that you ain't heard enough from Stefanski and Bear? They chilling. They feeling good.
I think they feel good about themselves right now, and they should. There's a certain level of confidence that I believe Jimmy Haslam has given to them. I think by Haslam taking a lot of ownership over the Deshaun Watson move, it buys them more time, at least from the public standpoint, like what we're talking about and what fans think about the team. The expectations have been lower for this year. Listen, unless the Browns completely fall on their face and are an embarrassment worse than what we saw last year, which I think is really going to be difficult to do because Joe Flacco is a professional, whether he's limited with his ability physically or whatnot. I still think he's going to be able to do enough to get the Browns to that, somewhere between 6 and 9 wins. Mm-hmm. And if you do that, I think everyone in town is sort of happy. They're excited about the new stadium. They're probably excited about Travis Hunter or whoever they draft. Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's Hunter if they don't take a quarterback. But no, I think that it would have to be an absolute disaster this year, guys, for Stefanski to face any sort of accountability where his job would potentially be in jeopardy.
Yeah, these questions drive me crazy. Mike puts them on there just to...
I texted you yesterday and gave you full warning.
I know.
Exactly what I was doing.
I know. And I didn't respond. I was so disgusted. I didn't even respond. This is silly, of course. Was it Kevin's fault when Deshaun threw the ball 7 yards out of bounds last year against Dallas? Was that Kevin's fault? Now, was it Kevin's fault when they got blown off the field in New England a couple years ago? Yeah, that was his fault. So there's as G would say, there's layers to this. There's levels to this. You'll know when you see it who's at fault. If Flacco's doing what Flacco does and he gives you 250, 300, and he throws it to the other team 3 times and he gives you 2 or 3 touchdowns, well, that's just who Joe is. I said the other day, the sequel is rarely as good as the original guys. Like, you got to be aware of that going in. Yeah. And everyone's got all these rosy good feelings about how it was with Joe previously, which is funny because the last time we saw him, he was throwing pick sixes like crazy. And we just sort of seem to dismiss that and forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 40 years old. I mean, what do you expect? And before he came to Cleveland, he was out of the league and hadn't been good in a number of years. So just sort of temper expectations with this. But if they're totally unprepared on both sides of the ball, you'll know it. And then it becomes a coaching issue. Just because a guy's throwing it to the other team isn't necessarily a coaching issue. So, it is what it is. We'll see. It's not even 100% that he's even going to be the starting quarterback week 1. If I had to put money on it right now, I'd probably bet him to be the starter. But I don't think it's a sure thing. I think Kenny Pickett could still win the job week 1.
I got to see what his arm looking like. If his arm is anywhere where it was before, he about to win this battle hands down. You know what? I went back and watched it. He was bad against the Texans. I went back and watched that game. I was like, whoa, we got slaughtered. However, some games prior to that, we was cooking. Now, I'll say this. When you look at Flacco and what he's able to do, I think he mirrors what Kevin Stefanski likes. You're not, for whatever it's worth, Joe Flacco ain't going to give you no sound bites. He's unsoundbiteable. Like, he's not, Kenny Pickett's not going to give you no sound bites. So this is a great little quarterback room to get back to basics. He's going to come in. Joe Flacco can absorb the playbook. And Joe Flacco, in his mind, is thinking to himself, well, listen, I came off the street before. I haven't had an opportunity to come off the street or to be into a system where I am the number one guy. Like, when's the last time Joe Flacco has been like, hey, I'm the guy, I'm the starting quarterback, I'm going to learn the system from top down, I'm in OTAs, I'm doing all this other stuff, I got a long runway. I think would it be with the Jets the last time he
I was thinking the Jets, but I don't even know for sure if it was New York. It may have been Baltimore.
It might have been Baltimore. He's gonna come in. He's gonna come in here excited. Like, think about that.
Dude, right? I mean, come on. We heard him 2 years ago when he was here. I mean, the guy thought his career was basically over.
Yeah.
And then he's able to go out here and have this like resurgence to his career. Also, he's got like kids who don't necessarily remember his heyday.
Right.
Back in like 2010, 11, whatever it was. So he's like kind of he's just having fun, dude. He's like a kid. He's like me learning tennis at 40 years old. You know what I mean? Like he's like, I'm back. I'm like moving. I'm throwing touchdowns. Like doing all these things. He is got a renewed sense of urgency, energy, all of the above.
He gets to tell them no. They're not telling him no. And I think that's how every player wants to go out. Every player wants to go out on their terms. They don't want to be told by the league, you're not good enough anymore. We don't want you, which is what they told him.
Yeah.
And now he's found an opportunity. But you made a good point. He came in here and did what he did with no training camp, with no preseason. Not that the guy's playing the preseason. He wouldn't play anyway. But with zero preparation. And I'll go back to the story I wrote when, like, kind of how it all unraveled with Deshaun. I had somebody at the organization tell me at the end of the Flacco season, you have to bring Joe back. Somebody has to teach Deshaun the offense. Joe picked it up in 30 days faster than Deshaun has in 2 years. Yeah. Like, he got it like that. It was a good marriage between Kevin and Joe. The play action component Joe's excellent at. Joe ran this exactly as Kevin wanted, minus the picks, which that's a huge, that's a big, you can't just dismiss that.
Yeah.
And that's why I do think Kenny Pickett does have a chance to start week 1, because Kenny's not going to throw it to the other team. He may not give you the big play capability that Joe can, but he's also not going to throw it to the other team as often. So pick your poison there. And we're going to be talking about this all of July, all of August. Camp battle, quarterback battle. Who should it be? Who looked good?
Do you really care who it is? I mean, both those guys to me are kind of like the same. Like, they're going to be bridge quarterbacks. Whoever the next young player, the rookie quarterback, or whoever they draft, they're going to carry the torch for this year. And let them battle it out.
I'm slightly interested for the last 4.
I'm interested in it, but I'm not going to be like, I'm not picking a side. Like, I'm in Flacco camp.
No, this is a fun camp battle. I like these little battles like this because guess what? We did not have any fun for the last I don't know how many years. just by watching football. Last year was miserable for me. Like the fact that we scored under 15 points. You know, people had, you know, the quarterback factions and different things like that. Listen, for once, just a football guy, hey, man, I bet you people come back. David Njoku's going to be excited. I think Jerry Jeudy will be excited because they're going to get a new breath of fresh air. And, by the way, with the picks they got, I think the Browns will be a better team than they were last year. If you get a Travis Hunter, if you do find another running back or able to get some new fresh blood in there, I think that's a good thing. You know, when you look at it, Flacco and Pickett will probably battle it out, and we'll see what it is. But you got two guys. And the cool thing about it is when you bring those two guys there and you may draft a guy, I'm not under no pressure if you got a Jalen Milroe. If you want to throw a red shirt on them, now it's kind of difficult to do that if you're losing games. But if they're winning 7-8 games, you don't have to play Milroe or Shuck or if Shedeur Sanders falls.
Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. You don't have to play him immediately. You can just sit him.
Yeah. If it's Milroe, I do think there will be a Milroe package. I wholeheartedly believe that.
Kevin loves one of those.
Short yardage. He'll be
he can play.
Will he be the 4th and inches quarterback?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
immediately.
absolutely.
Although what's interesting about that is he really can't be unless he's the backup quarterback because if you're carrying 3 on the 53, you got an emergency quarterback, but if the emergency quarterback goes in, you can't play the other
Are they
guys.
allowed to list him as a running back?
Maybe.
Well, could you just have 3 active quarterbacks on the roster?
You'd have to carry 3 actives on the game day roster.
I think they would do that.
Wow.
But, man, you're really costing yourself a spot then. I don't know that that's ever been.
You think they will?
No. Let me ask Jason this specifically. Is Jalen Milroe's potential development of getting those legitimate game reps, even if it's just 4th and inches situations or 4th and short, more valuable than a 7th defensive back? On a season where I think we all agree their maximum cap
That's
is
why you got
78
Travis Hunter. Boom.
Opens up a spot.
Well, that's true.
There you go.
That's true.
All the tea leaves lead to Milroe now.
But this is.
Gee, that was good. I like what you did there, G.
But these are all the conversations that they're having.
Right.
And maybe Dustin's right. Maybe you put him in at receiver.
Or running back or whatever. Because, I mean, he's probably not going to play a ton of quarterback.
No.
As a rookie.
No. 4th and inches. Well, but again, this is the
3rd
Browns.
and
They
2.
play 3 quarterbacks every year. They play 5 quarterbacks.
He does play a lot of quarterbacks.
So if you think they're going to make it through the season with a 40-year-old Joe Flacco and 1 backup, okay. But when's the last time the Browns made it through a season? I guess it probably was pretty recently. I think Baker played.
Yeah, probably Baker. But, like, outside of him, nobody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his skill set is intoxicating. The closer and closer you get to the draft, I'm getting more nervous because I talked myself into thinking that Jalen Milroe was going to be there and available. Nobody was going to take him. And now that I've done these mock drafts and looked around and done these little panels and thinking about what other people are thinking about, man, I think he could go to Pittsburgh. I think he can go to a lot of different places. He might not even be available.
Penix going to Atlanta last year, it's a copycat league. And, I mean, you can go back to Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Where they didn't necessarily have that need right then, but you felt like that was a team that was like the guy, felt we can afford to take a year or two and develop him, and then we'll have a guy. You could easily see a team, I guess, at the bottom who would really like him, who I'm just throwing the Rams out as an example. I don't even think they have. Do they have a first-round pick?
Wow. Yeah.
Where are the Rams picking?
The Rams have 26. I'll confirm that, but it's like 25, 26, something like that.
I mean, that would be a team to me that would say Stafford's getting up there. We don't know how much longer he's going to play. We'll take this guy now and develop him for a year or two. I can
26.
see that.
They're 26.
I did for the Bleacher Report yesterday, there was a 32-team mock, and I had the Browns. And I traded up with the Vikings, who don't have very many picks. They're at 24. It cost me 33, 67, and 179, which is like the 3rd round pick and the 6th round pick. And obviously they were at 24, and we swapped the 33 to 24. But even at 24, I mean, on the board, I ended up taking Jackson Dart at 24. But there was a couple teams that was trying to get ahead of me just to get Jackson Dart. All 4 of those guys went.
Well, the thing you got to remember in this particular draft is if the Giants and Browns pass up on a quarterback at 2 and 3, and the Saints don't make the move at number 9, In the second round, the Browns have the very first pick in the second round. The Giants have the second pick in the first round, and the Saints have the 8th pick in the second round. All three of those teams, plus anyone else that may be in the market for a quarterback, are going to be looking to get up into that same range.
Yep.
And it could become a bidding war, and you may end up paying more than you would like to or think you would have to get to a certain spot because you're vying with those same other teams to get in a position to draft the second-round quarterback or late first-round quarterback that you covet.
That's why I made my trade 2 days before the draft. Like, you could do draft trades during the draft, so it was kind of wild. But I was like, no, I'm not going to be jousting with you guys. Let me get out of the way right now.